Hi, my name is Beck Parnham. Recently, I graduated from the University of Arizona with a Bachelor's of Science in Architectural Engineering. And while doing that, I collegiately swam and will continue to collegiately swim while getting my MBA as well. My senior year, I got to take a redshirt year, which was a very interesting experience. A little bit more about some of my previous work experiences. First one, I'll give the earliest one. When I was 16 until I just about graduated, I worked in a cookie store, which was a really cool experience. I worked behind the register and I was always trying to get people to buy just a little bit more, instead of buying 5, just buy the 6. It's cheaper. It's in another pack, it's how you should do it. Then last year I got to work at Highland Vista Aquatic Club. I was the head coach there. It was my first official coaching job. It was really cool. I got to coach kids under the age of 5 up to the age of 16. That just kind of had some challenges on its own. It was long days, 6 hours on the pool deck. I had one assistant coach with me the entire time. She was really nice. She used to swim on the program. And then this last year, I got to be a preceptor for Matt Stoner, a Eller MBA graduate who now teaches a technical communications class for engineering majors. And basically what I would do is I answered online discussion posts and I ran the in-person discussions. I would help these kids with some presentation skills. I'd provide feedback to them and give them any advice that they would need on their projects and try to help them become better presenters as a whole. In the future, I really hope to be financially independent. And I want to be able to be at the top of whatever company I'm working at. Whether that's owning the company itself or just being at the highest level of management possible. That's just how I want to be able to live my life. As a swimmer, we always strive to try to be at the highest level that we could be at, and I want to take that same energy into the workplace. But my main motivation is to do things for myself first. I like to please myself through hard work and dedication, and then I've always been extremely family oriented though. I'm very close with my mom and my dad and my sister. We have a great relationship. We talk all the time. I really love my family, and in the future I hope to continue that legacy of being there for my family and supporting them financially and emotionally and just giving them everything that I can. I think that in a more professional setting, I'm more motivated definitely in a monetary value, but to be fair, I feel like that always kind of comes second. I feel like I'd be more motivated about working with the people that I'm going to work with. I've always said that to people I've made connections with, I want to work with people I want to work with. I think that just builds for better companies. Whenever you kind of have a good friend-ish relationship with your coworkers, it seems like things go a lot better, but you should also be able to call those things out if possible, like whenever something messes up. Just good habits. I find that some really strong soft skills that I have is communication. I never really had a problem with being able to communicate things I need done or asking for help or being able to give feedback. I think communication is huge for success. Being open about what you need, what you want, and how you want it done is essential to success because you can't read somebody's mind. So you have to be able to talk. I think in terms of working in a team, I think teamwork is always something that I've strived in. I find that it's a lot easier to get ideas from somebody whenever you're kind of sitting there with somebody, talking to them, smaller groups, pairs to 4s, usually not much more than that. You don't want too many cooks in the kitchen, but what I like to say is it's hard to kind of pitch your own ideas out there, but when you have somebody with you where you can talk to them, they'll give you feedback, but then you kind of keep bouncing these ideas off each other, and all of a sudden you kind of build something new that wasn't initially what you said, but it's better. So I think teamwork is kind of definitely something I strive in, especially for our senior design project this year. I was constantly working with one of the girls about how do we make our floor plan just a little bit better, or how do we capture more light into this room from the daylight sun? Just kind of creating those new ideas with each other or bouncing those ideas off the professor. And then for leadership, I always find that my leadership now has gotten a lot better. About a year and a half ago, before I started my Highland Vista coaching job, where I was the head coach of that program, I definitely think that my leadership wasn't as strong as where it could be. I think having that job really did put me in a different position and a different view set of how leadership should be. I wasn't really much older than a lot of the swimmers. I was 20, 21 at the time. So some of the swimmers were 4 or 5 years younger than me. I had a bigger age difference between the parents than I did the swimmers, but I was the one who had to coach them. So establishing those kind of leadership skills, I think, it's important. I had to find a way for these kids to kind of trust a guy that had no coaching experience before, no official coaching experience, that is, who didn't have that experience, who was kind of new to their community. I was born and raised in Houston, and I come into Tucson to try to teach these kids better swimming ideas. But establishing that trust and being somebody they can talk to, but then also holding them accountable for their own actions. I think being a leader isn't really a quality, but I think there's a lot of qualities that go into being a leader. You got to be a hardworking individual. You have to be able to communicate. You got to be able to work in teams. You got to be trusting. I think all those just kind of build into a leadership. I think having good soft skills and technical skills build you into that kind of environment. I've been told I'm a fairly solid presenter from Matt Stoner himself. He told me my senior design presentation was really strong. He said I barely looked at my slides. I tried not to look at my notes. It was a great thing to hear. Felt nice. And then finally, I've always been known to be a pretty hard worker. In the pool, out of the pool, I like to work hard. I just think that's how you get things done. You buckle down and you do it. It's just plain and simple. In high school for 3 years, I was on the varsity team my sophomore and senior year. Every single year I was voted hardest worker. To my coaches and my teammates now, they even view me as one of the hardest workers on the team. I've always been known to just put my heart into it, plain and simple. But in terms of career path, though, I really do want to lead my own company. Again, whether that's management or whether that's owning my own company, I really want to be able to do that. And I think that this program is really going to help me do that. I think it's going to help me become a better presenter. I think it's going to help me be able to talk to people in a more professional way. I think it's going to help me establish better relationships in a professional world. And then I also think that it's going to help me learn how to be more financially responsible, how to navigate business finances rather than just personal finances. And I kind of look forward to that. I look forward to kind of learning more about the economics of things. We took like a 5-week economic course, which I don't think is really enough to really get a grasp of, the job, what the economy is like, or how to really navigate through the economy. So I look forward to kind of getting more knowledge on that, so I can, progress a business even further. Just a little fun facts about me. One of them is, when I was 3 years old, my family and I were on America's Funniest Home Videos a total of 3 times. All for the same video. My giant Great Dane dog at the time, he was 6 feet when he stood on his back legs. He jumped in the bubble bath with me, and my mom got the camera, started filming. She's just cackling in the background. It's really funny. It's called Big Bubble Trouble, if you want to look it up. Anyway, but we ended up winning 2 rounds and then went to the final round and lost to a grandma screaming on a roller coaster. Unfortunate, but that was a really cool experience. And then another fun fact about me is last year in 2024, I got to compete at the U.S. Olympic Trials. I swam the 400 individual medley, so that's 100 meters of every stroke in swimming, just straight in a row. Go butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, freestyle. And I ended up placing 39th out of 80 swimmers after coming in seeded about 76th. This was just kind of a really big goal for me because I wanted to go to trials in 2021, but barely missed the time. And so I dug my head in, worked a little harder for 3 more years, and I was able to go to trials this last year in Indianapolis and race at Lucas Oil Stadium. On the day that I raced, there were 17,000 people in the stands. That is, to date, the most people I've swam in front of live. I've never even gotten close to that, ever. So it was a really cool experience. But overall, I'm really excited for the MBA program. I look forward to learning more about the ins and outs of business management and how to become a better how to set a better professional standard for myself. Anyway, I look forward to meeting everyone who watches this video, and I hope it was enjoyable. Have a great day. Thank you guys.